Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Zero to Empire podcast. On this episode, I'm Matt Treppel, and he is a John Maxwell certified coach and speaker. And he's going to be going over his journey, where he actually got when he went through to get to where he is today, and what actually inspired him to get into the world of speaking and coaching and everything in between. So make sure to stay tuned and watch the entire episode or listen to it and enjoy it. So thanks so much for being on the episode, Matt. And what actually inspired you to step into the world of speaking and coaching?
Well, first of all, Sam, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. To your question, it was kind of organic. I had been applying small disciplines to my life, physically, spiritually, mentally. It wasn't something necessarily intentional that I was looking to do, but I realized I would be exposed to certain things, certain people, and picking up on what they said. And as I began to incorporate them into my life, I realized in conversations, other people would be intrigued. Like, well, how do I go about doing certain things? And it just became that I had small platforms with whether it's individual, small groups, and then I'll be asked to speak. People are like, "Hey, that's pretty cool. Could you come speak here? Could you talk to this guy? Could you meet me for some coffee? I'd really like to get your advice for something." So it came, there was input, and somehow it changed output that drew other people. And I said, yeah, I liked being able to help people in that regard.
That's sweet. And before this, you actually told us about your experiences with college athletes and
Mm-hmm.
coaches and how that actually shaped your coaching philosophy today.
Well, growing up being an athlete, playing college football myself, uh, and then observing when I'm talking and working with athletes, that it's not even realizing, they're not even realizing the importance of the mental aspect. That a lot of times games are won and lost before you even step on the field of play. And so I began when I started working with Fellowship of Christian Athletes on a college campus, UNC Wilmington, which is a mid-major, but it's Division I. And I tell athletes, you are elite in that less than 5% of all high school athletes get on the Division I level, but you're not mentally elite. And when talent meets talent, and it's the same, what is it going to be that's going to put you over the top? And it's being mentally tough, mentally fit, mentally strong. And they became intrigued because I work with a lot of athletes one-on-one. And then coaches heard about it and started talking to them and other people. Could you apply this to businesses, sales people? And I said, yeah. So I started putting things together. So it was, but hearing athletes speak, and I could see, because I'm on the outside now, I'm like, the negativity, the pessimism, and how they are going into athletic competition with a negative mindset, and they don't even realize it. And so when you make someone aware of it, then it's like, do you want change that's going to help you be prepared to be the very best you when you're competing? And so it just came about that way. So yeah, being a former athlete myself and being involved with athletics coaching, I was athletic director at school. Just seeing it so much and realizing it is such an important factor that is so neglected, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm glad you're able to make that impact on the players and the coaching
Mhm.
or coaches. And why do you think most people actually struggle with investing in themselves?
A couple of reasons. One, people don't even realize it, right? We wake up and we're just fed from all these different avenues, whether it's social media, all over what we should have, and we live so convenient that it doesn't even seem like there's something that you would have to do, and it's not required, right? And for the most part, as an adult, you learn a job and you learn the job, but you don't learn about yourself doing the job and coming into the job. And so that's the biggest thing is it's not required, and people are just unaware of it and don't even see a need for it. And that's the biggest deception, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And more people should invest in themselves and try to take them to the next level. And who would you actually say your ideal client is today?
really is someone that is progressing in their field and really wants to get everything out of themselves and realize they need help, someone come along. I tell people all the time, if Tiger Woods, you use this for any golf, you use it for Rory McIlroy, who just won the Masters. Tiger Woods, when he was number one, he didn't stop having a coach. Right. And the thing is, when the people that I work with are usually already successful and they really want someone to come alongside that will help them with their blind spots, help them see things that they don't see. And I think that humility enables someone to rise up, And so whether it's a business owner, high producing salesperson who right at this time I work with, that is the ideal person. Someone just gets, and sometimes they get so frustrated on their own, but they've been referred or they know that there's coaching available.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great niche. And when it comes to those that are ready to work with you, what do they look like? What makes them ready to work with a coach like you?
That they're fed up with trying themselves, right? And that's the last few people that have come to me. They just let me see what you have to offer, and therefore it's me asking questions just to see where their mind is, right? See what they think about themselves, see how they see themselves in circumstances. So it really is someone that gets the end of themselves, really, and are ready or think they're ready.
Yeah, that's true. And when it comes to the athletes and professionals you worked with thus so far, what's the biggest mindset overlap that you've seen?
The competitiveness in themselves, for themselves, but also within themselves. That there is this, the positive, negative, I can't kind of going against each other head to head, and that it affects them in the competitive nature of what they're doing outside themselves against others. I say against others, but in the field, whether it's athletic field, sales field, whatever it may be. And so that overlap is that they're competitive and they realize they need an advantage that they themselves just can't get. Though the irony is when I work with someone, it's asking questions, help them dig within themselves so that they can uncover what's keeping them, what are the challenges internally, and then to discover through questions and through prompts to add to their lives things that will bring about excellence, challenge them, and ultimately just small disciplines that they add to their lives, because what you expose your mind to, it'll get attracted to.
Yeah, it's good to have an outside perspective and ask the right questions. And what does a one-on-one coaching engagement usually look like?
Well, usually, just as I said, the first thing is questions, and just looking at someone and asking questions and watching them, the wheels turn, because really it's sometimes most people don't give themselves a time just think, to really be honest with themselves. And then when I asked them to paint a picture of what would it look like if you went and chose disciplines on a daily basis, you added disciplines that would ultimately subtract out bad habits, being deliberate at first. And the mindset, what would you want mindset look like? What would you see the success would look like? And getting their mind creative in that way, because a lot of times the mind is creative in, if I fail, what looks like I'm not able to do this. And I mean, we are limited and restricted by the world in ways that we're not even aware of, just because the words no, can't, and don't have been applied to us for so long.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I tell people go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I when a lot of times when I speak, I'll tell people by the time you're 18, the stats are you're told 3 words over 20,000 times each. And those 3 words are no, can't, and don't, which at times is good for your welfare, but it does create a mindset of I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, when things are tough, when they're difficult, when things are uncomfortable. And we compromise, we justify. And so I just go in there, to your questions. I start speaking questions to that to get them outside of that wheel of the negativity and start thinking positive and encouraging, and that there's in themselves excellence to strive and excel.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you hear no when you can't throughout your life many
Yeah.
times, and just gotta stay positive, keep on going.
Mm.
And when it actually comes to the group workshops and the digital platform that you're creating right now,
Yeah.
how do they actually differ from your individual coaching program? What's your vision behind them?
Well, the workshops that I do, and then the digital part, which I just said I'm looking, have a vision for, but the workshops, and I found this being in a workshop myself, which came from what's called communication school, that we're all required on staff to learn to communicate more efficiently, effectively. And it was a small group, and what you find is getting feedback from other people in your group encourages one another, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. So instead of just one coach and you, a coach is coaching, therefore you can have discussion that brings out creativity, brings out encouragement and ideas to help each other for whatever whether it's sales or communication, whatever the specific for that workshop is. And so having other people around and seeing, really facilitating, asking questions, hey, let's discuss this, what would you do this? And I just find, workshops lend itself for people to be productive in communicating and encouraging and affirming one another. And the more you affirm others, actually, the more you're affirming yourself, right? The digital part is, this day and age, there's so many ways to bring about your methods to help individuals if someone's not able or whatever, don't want to be in a Zoom or not local, that are just a way for them to have something that that gives them steps to follow. The different aspects. When I spoke at a conference a couple of weeks ago. This gentleman asked me, he said, "Do you have anything online to take this to another level?" I said, "Well, what you're doing is you're confirming what I've already been thinking about doing." And so all the notes, all the different things that I have, it's to organize it so that it's in a way that someone else can understand it, right? Not just, what do you mean understand it? You don't understand this and this and this and this, like I do, because I can see it. That would be a step, and having a podcast as well, just different avenues to communicate excellence, to open people's eyes and minds to the fact that there's much more in them for them who the excellence that they were intended to live.
Yeah, it's really cool and neat that you're able to do all these extra ways of sharing your message and making sure that you're making the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And if someone is actually feeling stuck right now, but unsure if they need a coach, what would you say to them?
When I would ask the question, where are you stuck? Why do you think you're stuck? And ask, trying to find out what have they tried, what do they see are the options for them to get unstuck. Because when you ask someone why they're stuck, sometimes they're not even realize, they just see the result of being stuck, or they see what they feel is they're not progressing or not having any advancement. And then when you ask, what are you stuck? And then how are you stuck? Do you think that they start getting specific in their mind and seeing it? And sometimes they realize that they are making headway, just not as fast as they think they should. Or again, here's the thing: the thief of all joy is a thief of comparison of what others are doing, right? And so then it's like, all right, so what are you doing? What's work? And just asking questions for them to, going back to what we said earlier, for them to really give themselves time to kind of flesh it out. Because you just get up and go, and by the end of the day, well, the result is I failed or I was successful. I didn't get this sale, but what in it that you bring yourself everywhere you go? What is it in you that you can get better at, sharper at, more focused? And that, when the realization that there are ways to help them get unstuck once they find out why they're stuck and how they're stuck. And a lot of times they speak stuff that they're like, that's kind of profound to them. Gosh, I didn't even realize that. I said, well, tell me about your night when you get home. Well, because they want to do something outside their job, because they want to build, a brand, or they want to their side hustle. And then we start talking about their night and their weekends and realize, well, they're not doing it because they're not doing it. They're just expecting, it to happen. And I know, I'm sure you know too. I mean, you have to be diligent on a daily basis to carve out time to focus on that what you want to do. There was a guy talking about, look, you're the janitor of your business, but you're also the CEO, and you're the mid manager, and each one of those jobs somewhere else, there's an expectation. You have to show up and do your job every day, right? And this one guy, man, it was almost crushing him because he realized. I said, but here's the good news. Today's the first day of the rest of your life. Let's see what we can. It's a great day to be alive. That's what I tell. It's a great day to be alive. It's the first day of the rest of your life. What will we do today? And so that unstucking is just a process of what can we add, or what can you add today to help that paradigm shift, that how you see yourself, how you see others, how you see yourself in circumstances. And when you start seeing yourself differently because you are investing in you, then confidence changes your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and that brings about your results. So it's just really letting them probe and just come alongside and pushing a little bit and just watching them, listening to them, and then asking more questions. That's going to keep on keeping on.
Oh yes, confidence is definitely very key, especially when you're trying to make an impact on someone's life.
Oh,
Confidence dominoes and everything else.
yeah.
And where can those actually interested in becoming a client of yours find and reach out to you by?
Well, I get my website. Everything goes to all my social media. In the bios, it has an email or my website, and my website mtreppel.com has where you can put your information down and an email, and it'll come to me, and I'll get back to you. But if someone DMs me or emails or goes to the website, whatever, when it gets to me, I'll turn around and contact them. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I have YouTube, and eventually, I said doing a podcast as well, but trying to focus on getting more speaking clients, to whether it's big groups, small groups, organizations, to communicate this message that I firmly believe in and have seen the results, not only myself, but in others.
That's great. Yeah, feel free to reach out to him if you would like to be a client of his. And thanks so much, Matt, for being on the podcast. It was great having you on. And thank everyone for watching in or listening in. And I'll see everyone in the next episode of Zero to Empire.
Appreciate it, Sam. Thank you.